Welcome to the Wow MD podcast, where in each episode you will get in 30 minutes or less valuable pearls about holistic wellness, anti-aging, hormone therapies, beauty trends, and other facts you should know about our medical healthcare system and your health that no one is telling you. My name is Dr. Mirala Chernayanu. I am a conventional board-certified OBGYN physician who, after the loss of my father due to a careless and uncaring medical team, decided to retrain and seek certification in anti-aging and restorative therapies. What I know, I am happy to share with you. Hello, listener, and again, thank you for gracing me with half an hour of your time to listen to this episode, as it takes over where I left off in the last episode when I reviewed why insurance companies are against providing coverage for vitamins and general wellness procedures or therapies. So I want to dig deeper in today's episode, give you some insight into things or a point of view or points of view you might have not considered as far as why your insurance plan does not cover you for various things that you believe you are entitled to or that should be covered or that would be common sense. And just as a informational disclosure right off the bat, what you are going to hear is not what I condone or support, but this is an argument that's presented on the side of the health insurance companies, and this is just their point of view. Doesn't mean that we have to agree with it, but this is reality. And this is what most people are not aware of, the reality of their situation. And that's what I want to make clear with today's episode. So let me start by making a very simple analogy so I can drive the concept of health insurance home. So let's use your car insurance. They're somewhat similar in quite a few aspects. You buy car insurance to cover you in the case of an accident, and an accident only. You do not buy car insurance and expect the car insurance company to pay for your oil change. You do not expect your car insurance company to pay for your transmission when your transmission is broken, right? You do not expect your car insurance to pay for your tires unless you have some kind of warranty or deal on both your transmission and your tires, right? For your car insurance, you simply sign a contract. You're going to pay a monthly premium. You're literally buying car insurance from the car insurance company only and only to have the safety of knowing that in case you are involved in an accident and your car repairs from the accident are going to cost a large amount of money or the car is totaled, you expect the car insurance company to help you pay the bulk of it once you've met your deductible, right? That is in your contract, and they will pay. They will pay whether or not the accident was your fault. However, they prove that you were at fault for the accident. They will slap you with a huge premium increase going forward that might last 3 to 5 years. They are definitely certain to recoup some of that cost that they pay for your car, and that would be your warning to be a better driver. All insurance companies are in an extraordinarily advantageous position, though they all complain, oh, it's so expensive to do business as an insurance companies. They refuse to pay premiums under various excuses unless they're taken to court or forced by the state. And medical insurance companies are in an extraordinarily advantageous position because under Obamacare, before 2019, I believe, if you did not want to pay for medical insurance, you had to be taxed and penalized by the government at the end of the year. You had to pay a fine. So everybody had to get medical insurance. That's no longer happening since the Trump administration repealed it, I believe in 2019. But you also need to consider the cost of medical expenses as being so high in case you ever need to have hospitalization, surgery, cancer treatments. Virtually no one over 50 can technically afford to not have medical insurance. It is true that under EMTALA, a law which requires anyone coming to an emergency department to be stabilized and treated, regardless of their insurance status or ability to pay, you will not be thrown out of the ER if you have no insurance. But hospitals, apparently 2/3 of them, according to multiple studies, all over the US, can and will sue you, garnish your wages, and sell your debt to a debtor collector agency if they don't sue you, as well as report you to the credit bureaus. So you really don't want to show up at the hospital without insurance of any kind. It will cost you a pretty penny. It will come to haunt you in a financial or other ways you do not anticipate or foresee, as your ability to get a credit, a loan, finance a car, or rent an apartment might all depend on your credit score. It is illegal in the state of California and virtually in every state in the great USA not to have car insurance. So being in the insurance business opens the path for what is called an everlasting pool of prospects. I mean, look at how many cars are on the freeways, right? You don't need to advertise much. You just set up shop and you open a little office and customers will come to you because they must. As long as you work with an insurance company, you have a little license, right? The insurance company you work for needs to know how to be better at making promises than their competitors. That is essentially what you're buying with your monthly premium. A promise of coverage and a promise to help paying larger expenses in the case and only in the case of an accident, right? Think about this. As children mature and become teenagers, their first step outside of their parents' tutelage and towards independence will be to drive a car. Couples come together and have children. It is a given that the newborns will be an everlasting pool of prospects for medical insurance companies, as no parent will be careless enough to not purchase medical insurance for their child. They might not want to have medical insurance for themselves, but they're going to get it for the child. Every other business on the face of earth has to work hard to get leads and prospects, customers. They have to spend a ton of energy and time and money marketing to appeal to new customers, right? Insurance companies have to do nothing. They do ads on TV, that's true. But people will seek them out. And people will have unrealistic expectations, will not read the contract that they sign. They don't read the fine print. And then they get mad at the doctor in the office or at the medical office staff or at the biller instead of getting mad at the insurance company because the insurance company denied their coverage. Or they will get mad and angry at the car repair shop when they're told they have a very high deductible. Like you chose to have a $5,000 deductible to keep your monthly costs down. And now you have to pay that before your insurance company is going to pay for your expense to repair the car. It is true that the car insurance companies give you a discount if you have no accidents or tickets, and you can ask for that discount. Sometimes you're going to get it. But guess what? The medical insurance companies will not reward you with any discounts for your monthly premium if you eat healthy, if you supplement with vitamins or herbs, if you exercise daily, or if you wish to seek wellness therapies like intravenous vitamins, peptide therapy, hormone therapy, or laser therapy. They should be because you save them money, but they don't. They don't really care about your health. Indirectly, they do care because if you get sick, they need to pay your expenses. But interestingly enough, the burden of being healthy remains yours and yours only. It is true that no one wants you to get sick. You don't want to get sick. Nobody wants that. And you not getting sick benefits not just you, but it also benefits even greater the insurance company, who will not have to pay any medical expenses for you other than some wellness, 1 or 2 visits a year, maybe a little bit of a colonoscopy every 5 years, or a mammogram every year, a pap smear every year, a little blood test every year, and this is it. But they get to collect your monthly premium. That is a huge profit for them. I would say it's a lose-win situation. It's not a win-win as expected because you lose money, maybe over $5,000 a year. This situation is only a win-win in the case you develop a serious medical condition or suffer trauma and need high-cost medical care. God forbid you get cancer. Now the insurance needs to cover you. You are still on the losing end. You have to get sick and suffer in order for you to profit in any way from the payments you made for your insurance plan, even though they might be astronomical. And that's what people do not understand. Keep in mind, your insurance company will pay for medical expenses only, and only if you have an approved medical condition that can be either ameliorated, improved, or cured by an approved therapy. Each medical insurance company has a long list of what they call a formulary, which is basically a list that they develop and approve of that includes the cheapest, usually generic medications, various drugs, and maybe hormones that they're willing to pay for. If and only if there is proven medical necessity. The burden of proof lies with the doctor who wants to get paid for the visit, so the doctor is going to be honest about what the symptoms are, what the medical condition is, and say, hey, this is the best treatment for you, and this is what I recommend. But ultimately, the insurance company can still deny the claim with no explanation. It just says it's not a covered benefit. Or more so, come back months later, ask for their money back, leaving the practice with no recourse to recoup the expenses of cost for labor, for time, and overhead for the medical care provided. When you come and meet with a doctor, consider this, you have a conversation in the form of a medical consultation about what bothers you and what would you like your doctor to do to help you. It is mind-boggling to me, the physician, that a patient would walk into my office and say, I only want therapies that are covered by my insurance company. It just goes to show how little they understand the process and that the best, most natural therapies are never covered by insurance. Hopefully, you, my listener, are by now an expert and have grasped this concept and can share this information or simply forward this episode to someone that could benefit from grasping this information. And on top of all that, physicians, and I can tell you that because I am a physician, I do this every day. I'm in private practice, so I get all the questions. They come straight to me because I'm the business owner. It's not a clinic where I can just say, I don't know anything about that, go talk to the manager, right? As a physician that knows this and understands this, I have no idea what your specific plan will cover. I have a general idea of what is generally covered based on previous experience, and I have a general idea of what is generally not covered by the plan. But there are a multitude of plans. Even with the PPO umbrella, within Blue Shield or Blue Cross, there are a multitude that have a variety of restrictions and limitations. So there's so many plans with so different options for coverage, it's absolutely impossible for the doctor, the medical staff, or the biller to know beforehand whether your medical insurance plan will approve your treatment or not. You have to decide, I want to get this treatment. We're going to bill for the treatment. It gets paid. Beautiful. I feel great. Awesome. It doesn't get paid, but I feel great. That's your choice what you do with that information going forward, right? Let me use the car analogy again and make this very important point. Imagine the conversation of, please only recommend treatments that are covered by my insurance plan goes this way when you have a car problem. You're in the car repair shop and you're getting an estimate of your repairs. First and foremost, you want to know what's wrong with your car. You find out, to your surprise, that none of the repairs that are needed are covered by your car warranty and they're all coming out of your pocket. Your tires are done, they're flat, there's no remaining life on them, your transmission is out of warranty, it's all coming out of your pocket. At this point, you tell the car repairman you would like your car fixed no matter the expense. Well, you never say that because then they will take you to the cleaners. But you say, okay, how much does it cost? Maybe you haggle for the price, but you agree to have all the repairs done because your car is very important to you. And the car doctor says it's broken, right? You can't do your job without your car. This car is your livelihood. Your safety depends on how well this car runs, so it doesn't fail you in the middle of the freeway, leaving you stuck in traffic, or in the middle of a bad neighborhood that you have to drive through maybe at night. Or at this point, you can tell the car doctor, the car repairman, you only wish to pay for the repairs that would render your car in a working condition for a while. What can I do on a budget? Just enough not to fall apart. Maybe later, when you have more money, you can afford to do the rest or work on it little by little. So now let's come back to the human body. Our body is a complex machinery. It's a biological machine and computer. It's so sophisticated. It could fail you when you least expect it, especially if you haven't taken good care of it. So think about this. Doing the minimum necessary might work temporarily. But when you consider the stakes of having great health versus poor health, please give it a second thought. Because you can buy a brand new car, but you cannot get a brand new body when your current one fails. Again, it all depends on your budget and how much value you put on your health. So you might say, lady, you're crazy. Of course, I value my health much more than I value my car. And on the surface, you might really believe that. However, the truth is, and I might say something you might not like, but all of us engage in destructive behaviors daily by eating too much or eating the wrong foods, drinking too much, not drinking enough water. We also engage in behavior that damages our health every day by continuing to stay in a job that's putting our health at risk, ruining our sleep, our delicate digestive system, our microbiome, a job that is maybe driving us to drink and eat in order to soothe and comfort or forget the day-to-day turmoil of how bad the job is or the relationship with a loved one is. However, we don't beat up our cars. We change the oil when we need to. We change our tires when we need to. And the thread is worn out. We don't want to blow out on the freeway. We don't want to die. We understand on the surface and also deep down that the car is something we cannot live without, especially if you don't live in the rural USA and you walk a lot or drive a bicycle, right? Our car is something we need to take care of. It is something that can kill us. So we treat it with utmost care. And we keep it clean too. It's like a little home away from home, right? However, what's amazing to me, the physician, is that many men and women fail to understand the basic necessities of our bodies. And more so, many people demand that others carry that responsibility for it, like your health insurance or your doctor. And many believe that the vitamins and supplements they take are going to put them right back to rights in no time. There's no need for anything else to change. Everyone is looking for that magic supplement, that magic pill, that magic hormone, right? All of us literally abuse our bodies in various shapes and forms, physically, mentally, and emotionally, with poor choices of diet, beverages, too much or too little exercise, seeking relationships or continuing relationships that are harmful, and will engage in behaviors that are harmful. And all of us have very high expectations of being fixed instantly when they go and see a doctor. And all of us might be under the misconception that health insurance will provide, because that's what we pay their expensive, astronomically expensive monthly premium for. Am I right? I believe that we should call health insurance medical insurance, not health insurance, because health insurance is not about insuring your health. It's simply ensuring your recovery back to baseline when something goes terribly wrong. If your baseline is poor and messed up and dysfunctional, that's what you're getting back to. They're not necessarily paying to get you healthy. If you are fatigued, for example, your medical insurance will not cover IV vitamin therapy to make you feel better or boost your health. It will probably cover, though, the treatment of the medical condition that causes fatigue as one of the symptoms. You can't just have fatigue as a diagnosis and ask your insurance company to pay for vitamin therapy. You have to have other diagnoses that contribute to the fatigue. This is just a simple example, right? Your medical insurance covers many medical conditions, and many insurance plans have very long lists of medical conditions that are not covered under their plans, or medications that are not covered under their plans, and treatments that are not covered under their plans. Let me use another example. I have a fur baby. She's 3.5 years old. So when I shopped for medical insurance for her once she turned 6 months or 8 months old, I chose a plan that did not have a list of exclusions. I chose, if you're familiar with pet insurance, every insurance company has a huge list of exclusions. So I chose the plan that had a set fixed deductible, $500 for any medical condition my dog will develop, a lifetime deductible of $500. So if I spend $500 because my dog has gastroenteritis, then technically, if she has gastroenteritis 10 times in a year, all the treatments are covered, right? I chose this plan knowing that it would not cover any wellness benefits. I knew those wellness benefits will come straight out of my pocket, and it's my responsibility to keep my dog healthy by feeding her the right food, exercising her the right amount, and generally emotionally nourishing and training her to be a well-behaved and well-adjusted, happy, playful dog. And I believe all the patients who have met my dog can attest to that. She's a very well-behaved, happy, playful dog, loves people, and is very disciplined. I buy her a ton of toys, and I want to protect my shoes. I want to protect my furniture. I buy her quite a few supplements for healthy gut, healthy joints. She knows them by name: prebiotic cookie, salmon cookie for her coat, right? She has a kibble. She knows kibble, red Kong toy where I put the kibble in. She knows a lot of words. She's very smart. I know that her food, her toys, her vitamins, her training and activity, the time, the energy, the money are my responsibility, not the veterinarian's. It is your responsibility, just like I did my research when I chose this plan. I dug into it and I spent hours on the computer looking at various insurance companies before I chose this insurance company, which I've had for 3 years now, right? It is your responsibility to know what your insurance plan covers because you're paying for it and because you're the one with the policy contract. Other than you and the medical insurance company, no one else does. Your doctor doesn't, your biller doesn't. Things will have to be provided, billed for, and then you get your response. Only you and your plan have all these rules and regulations clear. Your doctor and their biller do not know the specifics of your plan. No one can guarantee that a treatment will be considered a covered benefit by your plan. You can have a treatment done, you can have it billed, and you can accept responsibility to pay for it when it's not covered, as opposed to getting mad or angry. You're never mad or you're angry at the vet when they take care of your fur baby. You just pay the cost without arguing. So I highly advise you to do your research. Call your insurance company, discuss pros and cons of a therapy, especially if it's a wellness therapy. Vitamin therapy, supplements, hormones, peptides, hyperbaric oxygen, etc. Decide whether or not you want that therapy based on your desire and belief in its efficacy and value rather than whether or not it is covered. Of course, there's also the matter of what you can and cannot afford. And if it is simply too expensive, well, it's a no-brainer. You just say no and walk away. Settle for what you can afford. And every doctor should give you multiple opportunities and options for things that might be in your budget, right? But just think about it. If we're talking about budget, right? We're not a car. Think about how much more productive and efficient you can be and how much more hours you could work when you are at the top of your game and you feel like you're at the top of your game. You feel great. You feel energized. You're full of vitality. That is priceless. How much would it cost to get you there? I don't know. Vitamin therapy is expensive. Hormone therapy is expensive. Peptides are expensive. But if they'll get you there and this is how you want to live your life, it might be worth it. Think of how much it costs you to wake up exhausted from a broken sleep because you decided vitamins or supplements for sleep are too expensive. Think about the cost of losing a loved one due to bouts of irritability and anger caused by deficient or imbalanced hormones, which could be caused by a serious vitamin deficiency due to chronic, subtle, and ignored digestive problems. Or you just don't want to have a certain hormone therapy because you can't afford it, but it could literally improve your mood and save your marriage. I could go on and on, give you more examples to illustrate how spending money on your health is always worthwhile in the short run and the long run. But this is something that everybody has to come to the conclusion that I came, that spending on your health is priceless. So again, consider investing in your wellness rather than arguing about why something is not covered, because your doctor is not there to be your medical insurance tutor or manager. He or she is there to help you get better. This business with the medical coverage, I have to tell you, ruins the experience on both sides. Because I'll be completely honest with you, your doctor will not discuss any revolutionary therapies that are very likely to help you if you come in saying something along the line of, I take 1 million vitamins, they have not helped me, so I don't believe another supplement will help. Or I only want to be prescribed what my insurance covers. Well, hello, I don't know what insurance will cover. I don't know what tests they'll decide to cover or not. I can recommend things and you can decide if you want them or not. And again, you might be wasting your time. If you see a new doctor and then you go to that consultation with preconceived notions about what is wrong with you. A new doctor is a breath of fresh air. It's a new concept, a new opinion. Hear them out and keep an open mind. Trying a new thing, whether it's a hormone, a vitamin, a supplement, a peptide, a synthetic medication, they might help where other things did not. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I definitely enjoyed recording it. Sorry, but bitching about medical insurance is the only thing doctors can do nowadays. Or they can simply go cash and name their price, which more and more are simply doing. Or another option is to just go concierge. I have a couple of episodes I talked about that in the past. Go seek them out. They're there if you want to know about it. I personally have been tempted more and more to just cut out the middleman, which is the medical insurance companies that I agreed to be in network with 12 years ago when I started my private practice, as well as not having to deal with a billing company that submits and follows up on our medical claims generated by the treatments we offer. And honestly, when I consider the costs involved and the time spent away from patient care, dealing with questions about charges and payments and billing issues and paperwork for it, about why something is not covered, time spent on following up on refunds requested by the insurance companies, time my staff spends answering questions about insurance payments. And so the money, the energy we spend on non-medical financial related issues, every time this happens, it pushes me an inch closer and closer to just saying goodbye to being in network, name my price, make access to my care affordable with a monthly membership and charge a little extra for additional visits, if more than once a month. And that's it. I will keep you posted. It's a big decision, but again, it seems like I get closer and closer to saying yes every time my staff prompts me to do it. They're sick of this insurance business themselves. So I will come back to this topic, perhaps give you some tips on how to gain independence and freedom from being dependent on a huge insurance premium with an episode that I plan to release around July 4 in honor of Independence Day, unless I get sidetracked with some other topic. So stay tuned for that. Next week, I'll change course and focus on men's health for June, as Father's Day is upon us, and we need our men to be healthy, strong, have clarity of mind, and remain faithful and cheerful in spite of all the daily life stressors. So stay tuned for my men's health episodes coming up in June. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for trusting me with your time, and thank you for listening to today's episode. If the content I provided wowed you, was helpful and valuable to either you or someone close to you, please do me a favor and leave me a review. I am very open and welcome any kind of feedback as well as suggestions on any content ideas, so please forward those suggestions to Jessica, my patient care coordinator, through our website, herabeautyandwellness.com. And I look forward to our time together next episode.